The state vision as it relates to economic and workforce development is realized locally. It's often said by me, perhaps too often, localism is determinative.
Governor Gavin Newsom in Turlock today, kicking off his California Jobs First tour. The governor proposing a top-line version of his 2025-26 budget, a $322 billion plan he says will be balanced and without deficits, a welcome turnaround after 2 years of budget shortfalls.
Blake Jones is joining us live. He is the co-author of the Politico California Playbook, and if you don't already subscribe, you should. He was with the governor today and joins us now with more. Blake, nice to see you. Happy New Year to you. We understand that you were in Turlock today at that budget presser. Now, at the early stage, what can you tell us about this $322 billion and also how that will affect everyday Californians? Will we even feel it? And what type of spending is the governor proposing?
The governor didn't reveal a lot about what he wants to spend today. He did unveil this top-line budget number, and he did say that the state has what he called a modest surplus, which is, as you all said, welcome news after 2 years of deficits, including one of the largest in state history last year. Now, I'm told that his Department of Finance is still producing the final number, what that deficit is going to be, and we're going to see a full plan from his department on Friday. But even though he didn't propose a lot of new spending today, he has already come out with 4 large proposals within the last few weeks. One of those is to more than double the state's film tax credit to try to attract Hollywood studios to California and to keep them there. Another is to spend $25 million on litigation that, he believes may be necessary against the Trump White House. He also wants to spend $100 million on an education master plan that he came out with a few weeks ago. And he wants to spend an known amount of money to set aside in case the Trump White House withholds federal disaster relief. And we will see how much he wants to set aside for that on Friday, along with a lot of other details.
Mm-hmm. Now, Blake, you mentioned backfilling the federal disaster relief, basically a placeholder proposal until the Trump administration comes in. Newsom has until the end of June to sign the budget. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you anticipate will be the impact of the Trump presidency?
Yeah, I definitely don't have a crystal ball, but I think that the impact of the Trump presidency is going to depend on a couple of things. And one is, how many of Trump's threats he carries out. That includes, rejecting waivers for things like electric car rules here in California and rejecting, different grants and pieces of federal funding that California receives. The second thing is whether all of these hold up in the courts, because like we said earlier, California is preparing to, fight tooth and nail if the federal government tries to withhold money from, political opponents, particularly blue states. And, if California is able to offset the impact of the Trump White House, then we could see less of an impact on, people's everyday lives as far as the budget goes.
So let's talk about his final 2 years in office, as we're on that road right now, and what you make of his moves and what path he might be creating for himself, say, in 2028.
Sure. Well, I think the talk about his presidential aspirations, makes a lot of sense. I think that's always kind of baked into how I and others view the governor. But I do think that he has some of these at-home policy priorities that he needs to nail down if he even wants to have a path to run for president in 2028. And, I think he's been trying to kind of right the ship a little bit. You saw this large deficit last year, and one of the moves that he made was proposing a budget that covered 2 different years so that one, there wouldn't have to be additional cost cuts this year, which he is, not planning on proposing Friday. And then 2, it also means that he doesn't have to deal with another year of headlines about a large state budget deficit. And because I think that, some of this negative coverage, some of these negative headlines for the state, he's sensitive to those, and they also can take a toll as he, presumably tries to position himself for a run in 2028.
Well, plenty of time to digest it all as the details come out. Blake Jones, co-author of the Politico California Playbook, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.